All right, I want to talk more about James Comey's book. First, I want to give you context. Don't get me wrong. Do I trust James Comey more than I trust Donald Trump? Only by a million miles. So Donald Trump's a pathological liar. Do I think Comey took notes that were accurate about their meeting and that Trump asked for his loyalty and to stop the investigation? I absolutely believe that. There's overwhelming evidence for that. That's your context. But Trump is right about one thing about Comey. And by the way, before I get to that further context, that's the thing about people. You know, when you're the FBI director, you're powerful, you're behind the curtain, you don't go in public very often, you don't speak out, you don't tweet, and that maintains a shroud of secrecy and mystery and power behind you. And when you speak out and you open your mouth, everybody realizes, oh, he's just another guy. And he says a lot of things that make sense, some things that are questionable, as I'm about to tell you now, and other things that seem a little petty, to be honest. And then he has some good cutting lines that are kind of funny about Donald Trump. Okay, so it turns out, shockingly, he's human. And there's a great saying in Chinese, which I'll now butcher, about how everybody trusts the monk from faraway village. Why? Because the monk in your village you grew up with and you realize that guy's a schmuck. The guy from the faraway village seems mysterious and powerful and all-knowing, etc. So as long as Comey wasn't speaking and writing books, he seemed to be the monk from faraway village. Now he looks like our village monk. Take it as you will. And by the way, he's not an idiot. He's incredibly smart and overall principled. But there are issues. So let me get to it here. So having given you all that context, the thing that Trump is right about, and he tweeted about it this morning, and yes, in his usual vociferous, preposterous way, but the essence of it is correct. Comey said that he would have acted differently if Trump was winning the polls right before the election. So when talking about his public announcement that Hillary Clinton investigation would be reopened, Comey said, well, I wanted to make sure that her victory in her presidency was not tainted, that she was not considered an illegitimate president. So he was being extra safe by saying that he reopened an investigation because he knew that that would come out later. And that he should make a public statement about it if it's going to be found out later that he was privately reopening the investigation. Well, then they asked him, okay, if Trump was leading in the polls, would you have publicly said that? And he said, I don't know that I would have. Well, that's problematic. So, number one, you're saying that you did it for appearances rather than what is right. That's a huge problem. Number two, you're saying that you did it for political reasons, basically. If Trump was leading, you might not have made the same decision because you were worried that Trump might win. Well, then you made a deeply political decision that was not based on the law. That is problematic, really problematic. And then point number three is, now we know you didn't want Trump to win because if you thought he was winning, you would not have announced that you're reopening the investigation on Hillary Clinton. That's deeply problematic, number three. Now, it all revolves on the same issue, and I know what the Trump guys will do. They'll take one thing out of 100 or 20 or whatever math you want to do on it and say, that's it, Comey's the worst. That proves Trump is right about everything else. No, it doesn't prove that Trump is right about everything else. But we have to be fair, and what's fair is fair, which is that in that case, Comey made a deeply political decision, one that wound up helping Trump immensely, although we now know he didn't mean to help Trump. So those are relevant factors in considering Comey's motivations. So you can say broken clocks right a couple times a day. You can say 100 different things. But on this one, I'm going to have to give it to Trump over Comey. On everything else, well, Trump is not to be trusted. So trying to be fair here.